Hello, here we are for another week of our vibration chat. I love coming here with you each week and sharing our
Absolutely.
experiences. How are you
Same.
doing?
Oh, honestly, I'm a little crabby today. Our topic is perfect. We're going to talk about vibration and frequency. And when we get off this call, actually, my vibration's already changed because of talking to you and being on your book club today, and then talking to your husband for a minute was lovely. But yeah, I'm a little crabby today. My cancer is coming out. What about you? How are you today?
100%. I don't know if I would, for me, I don't think I would be annoyed. It's just kind of like meh. You know what I mean? Like I'm not low vibe, I'm not high vibe. I'm just like meh, right? Just kind of like, okay, it is. Um, but yeah,
When
this
you're
is a
like
great
this, will you change? Are you going to try to change how you're feeling, or are you just going to sit in this? Will you just accept where you're at?
So kind of both, to be honest. Like obviously not at
Mhm.
the same time, but because I had a moment before we jumped on here and I was aware that I was like in the meh,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, this does not feel amazing. Like it. And then as we were talking, I was like, okay, I would love to shift this, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times too, where I go to for myself personally is I I try to kind of see like where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So um that's really interesting.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I came from a past identity of like depression and like all these things. So there was never really any high days. It was like I have a second of like, okay, excitement or happiness or joy. And then it was like, boop, no, because my identity was in that. Now that I've
Yeah.
shifted completely and I don't identify with that anymore, occasionally I'll have that days where I'm like, I'm feeling mad or sad or whatever. Not for any like nothing happened, you know what I
Right.
mean? And then I'm like, what's that? Because it's such a contrast from how I used to live in my identity that now when it comes in, it's very noticeable for me. And I'm like, well, I don't like
Great.
that. But I do am coming to this understanding like there is that contrast. And without, like, if the whole world was blue, everything was blue, right? We
Yeah.
wouldn't know anything else because that's all that we know. So
Yeah.
then, because we have the contrast of all these amazing colors in the rainbow, right? That's why we get to see the different colors. And so that's kind of how I see it. But yeah, raising your vibration. This is a great topic, actually, vibration and frequency. And often I feel like people think that they're the same,
Yeah.
and they're actually not.
Yeah.
So a very loose general description is vibration is like emotion, right? Like how you're feeling. Sadness is a vibration, that kind of thing. And then frequency is like your beliefs, like your kind of baseline. Like we're all aware, like I'm sad. You're aware that you're feeling annoyed, right? But like
Yeah.
your frequency is like where are you living at? Are you living
Yeah.
in that like your life is annoying or people, you know what I mean? Like I'm that's just an example, right? To kind of throw out
Yeah.
there, like where you're living at subconsciously. So that's kind
Yeah.
of a loose kind of description of those two. Um, but yeah, like how do we change these, right? Because we all know that we have the choice.
Yeah.
We don't always know how to do that.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm very aware, like, okay, I don't feel amazing, but I'm not able to get to that point of like, hey, this would help or this would shift,
Right.
for me until it happens. And then I'm like, oh yeah, there it was,
Yeah.
you know. So
Totally. I've noticed lately too, I'm like, oh, I'm crabby. I'm not like, I got to raise my vibration and I can't. It's because like, I notice a lot of times it's because I'm exhausted, right? Because I don't get home from work till so late and then I can't go right to bed. And so then I want to wake up early and then I'm like, oh, I'm so crabby. And that's one of the reasons part of it today too, is just I'm very exhausted. And it's just like, um, yeah. So it's like, I'm trying to switch my identity. Like I'll try to calm myself down and be like, I'm just tired. Like I'm not, and I'm high frequency. I mean, I have like such an amazing life. I love my life. I even though I want to get out of restaurants, I still love them and I have a great time when I'm there. I'm not like crabby at all when I'm there. So it's really interesting. Yeah, so I'm trying to shift my identity to being when I'm tired, but that's a really maybe I'll talk to Yuki about that because I don't know how to do that because everything else I can shift. I can and like on my way to work, I'm going to listen to music. I'm gonna dance. And then when I get to work, I in my car I tap. Tapping is such a great way to shift your frequency or shift your vibration. Gratitude. probably when I get out of the shower, I'll be able to sit down and write a lot of gratitude, which will be really just set a timer for like 4 minutes. And if you write, just like speed write all the things that you're grateful for, oh my gosh, it's like you realize all that you have. Gratitude is such a great way to shift your vibration. I used to do that before. That was probably one of my first practices before I ever knew what I was doing. I remember after I quit drinking, I was living in Oakland and I'd be crabby and I'd go for a walk. And I always lived in somewhere beautiful, like right on the bay. So I could see like the city of San Francisco. I lived on Jack London Square and it was so beautiful. Or I'd live in the lake, right on the lake in Oakland. It was so beautiful that I loved so much. And I would go for a walk and I would just be like, oh, I'm walking. Oh, I'm healthy today. Oh, there's palm trees. Like I would just start. I didn't even know that was gratitude, but that's what I would do. And then I would like shift into a different energy. And that's just such a beautiful way to do it. And especially where you live. I mean, I know it's get a winter a lot of places that we're at, but especially us that live in California, that live in the Bay Area, that live in LA, that live in Australia, that live in Bayou, like where like in South Africa, there's such amazing, beautiful places that a lot of times we overlook. And because we get into this like low frequency or low vibration and we don't realize where we live. And it's just so beautiful. And it's such a great thing to do is just to go outside, literally hug a tree, hug a tree. A tree is there for you when you like put your hands on a tree, when you like put you give your energy. That's what trees are for. They're there for us. They're there, of course, to like help us breathe and to give us life, but they also are great conductors of taking negative energy from us. And so it's like doing something like that, putting your feet in the sand, right? Like just like giving it all to the sand, looking at the ocean, listening to put on like ocean music, right? At your house. Put on birds. Birds are such a put on the jungle, something from the jungle on YouTube, like listening to animals and nature is such a great way to change your vibration and to like realize like how lucky we are just to be here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so true. Animals are a great one. Like, you
Hmm.
got your little kitty there.
Yeah.
I don't know where mine are. But
They're outside.
um, I don't know. They do the sleep all day and then they want to play and be let out in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping. Um, but yeah, super grateful for them and that's that constant reminder that I get to have that I'm so grateful for them. Um, and my children and giving them a hug, right? Like a person too. I love the tree thing. We actually have this giant, like, I don't know, 30-foot tree in our front yard. And it's I mean it's a large tree, but it's pretty it's not very wide. I mean to where you could like literally get your hands around it. Um, but yeah, these are some great things that we can do to raise our vibration, right? Because then you're in the vortex of um attracting other higher vibrations, whether it be people or experiences.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Yep.
Is
Absolutely.
cultivating these things. Like you said, music. Music
Absolutely.
is huge.
Huge. The
The
vibration. It's a
frequencies.
frequency.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
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 If you put on
Talking to
music that you
people.
love, that shifts your vibration. Don't put on music that makes you sad. We all love that
Yeah.
too. We all need a good cry. I love having a good cry. I love watching a movie. That's a good cry. Put on some comedy. Tonight they're
Yeah.
doing like a Netflix Eddie Murphy documentary. I'm so excited for it. Like one of the best comedians
Mm,
of all time that
yeah.
I've loved since I was little. It's like put on something really funny. Put on like a there's so many amazing kid movies nowadays that I'm sure you watch.
Mhm.
There's so many great ones that are animated that are so freaking funny and so deep and so smart and put on songs that you love that makes you shake your booty like to
Yep.
be in that vibration. That's why I love chanting. Like chanting is a
Mhm.
vibration. Chanting is, as I call it, the rap of the sacred world. Like I love it so much because I love rap music so much. It's just like, oh my god, this is a whole different vibration and it helps you with your manifestations. I mean, if you want to know about chanting, reach out to me, and it can change your whole world. And so it's just like, yeah, it's like, as you say, changing your vibration is not where you manifest from. However, when you're on a high vibration, it's the law of attraction. When you're high, and which I love, of course, Abraham Hicks. It's like when you're on a high vibration, you're really enjoying the moment. And then when you're enjoying the moment, then you are attracting other great moments. And then that's when the universe gives you what is in your vortex, what you really wanted. So it's all so connected, right? And we can have low days. I have low days. I mean, I was crabby earlier, right? So it's just like, but I don't want to stay there. I know, it's like, um, I can't always figure everything out today. I can't figure out how to fix it today, but I want to change my vibration towards it, and I want to get in a better mood. As you said, it's a choice. And especially working in restaurants, I cannot go to a table that's spending a ton of money and be in a low vibration. That is very rude. Like
Yeah.
I have to be high vibration. I have to be excited to be there so that they're excited to be there. And I don't want it to be fake because you can tell when it's fake. So it's like,
Mhm.
you got to cultivate. And the more you do it, the more you do it, the more you're able to tap into that space and within yourself. I mean, this work is just such an honor and privilege that we get to do with ourselves. And the fact that we are so brave enough to even go inside and to shift things around. And people notice that. And I see it every night. I wait on the very least amount of people I talk to every night is 30 people, right? And that's that's a very, very slow night. And so usually it's like 70, 80. And so I have to be connect with all of them. And when you're on a high vibration, it's so easy to do that. When I'm crabby, when I used to be younger and not work on my vibration, I mean, you could tell, like they could tell, and it's just like it changes your life and it changes other people's, right? Like it's just we know the energy, how our energy influences our auras influence other people. And so it's just, yeah, it's really a social responsibility too, to when you raise your vibration, you're helping all of us out, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And even before I kind of started my spiritual journey, like I was still aware. I didn't know how to name it, right? But like I
Yeah.
would be aware if I was like in a room with a certain person and I would like you just feel it, now they call it like
Yeah.
vibes or whatever. But like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't know, but you know what I mean? And then versus
Mhm.
when you're in a room or even on a Zoom call with somebody else and you're like, oh wow, like you want to be around them, right? So that's
Yeah.
that whole thing, kind of like what you're talking about, where there's been some people where I'm like, I don't even know you, but like how do I like get to know you? Like how do I, you know what I mean? Like not in a
Yeah.
creepy way, but like how
Yeah.
do we be friends? Like how do because you can feel that literally feel their energy, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they're smiling, maybe they're, dancing, like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so and that's the whole thing that we want to be for those other people, right? That experience that you're having of wanting to be around them, right? Like that's what you want to be. And obviously, you know, as we come here as humans to, or as a soul to, have this human experience, right? Like there are going to be moments, you know what I'm saying? It rains on your wedding or like whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's moments you're going to be like, okay, seriously, but we're not living there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not every day,
Yeah.
right? Like it's how long,
Yeah.
it's how often are we there and how long are we staying there, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of like the
Yeah.
gauge for ourselves, not for me to you or you for me, but like for
Right.
my own personal self, like how long am I
Absolutely.
staying there? Because
Yeah.
I had a moment earlier too where I was like, okay, this is really annoying, right? But like I'm not living there, right? It hasn't
Yeah.
been days and weeks because if we notice something, an emotion or whatever, that's now that's our normal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so um, and that's kind of goes back to the frequency, right? If we're overwhelmed or we're,
Mhm.
um, uh, I don't know, angry, right? Like, and it's all the time, then that's our normal. Like, that's the frequency
Right.
that we're typically in. Now, that doesn't mean that an angry person, can't be happy,
Right.
right? But that's not where they live. And so
Yeah.
it's noticing, right? So frequency, I like to think of the visual as like a radio station, the old school where you turn the knob, to whatever number you want. And it's like, okay, we can turn it back, right? But are we like setting it there and, we're not forgetting it? Oh, I don't even know what radio station I'm on. I've just been listening to this for so long, and it's like,
Right.
well,
Right. Right.
that's where it's good to notice is like if you're going, hey, I actually don't even like the music that it's playing, right? That would be the
Yeah.
awareness. And then to go,
Yeah.
what do I want to listen to? Right?
Yes.
Like maybe you've been listening to it because that's what your parents listen to or your
Yes.
friends or whatever. And then you're
100%.
like, I don't even like this music, you know? So then it's
Absolutely.
changing it. And like maybe for old time's sake, you want to listen to it or whatever, or somebody else is in the car, sure. But turning it to what you desire, turning it to the station that you want to live from. And then, like I said, as always, you want to turn on the country or you want to turn on a whatever, right?
Yeah.
But where are we living? So that's the frequency, and the vibration is kind of the emotion. And we get to experience them all as humans, right? That's what's so lovely about it.
It's true.
Um,
And it's true. And it just doesn't mean, a lot of people think because you do this work that you're always on a high vibration, you're always on a high frequency. And that's just not the case. Like if you're just spirit, we're all spirit all the time. We're forever spirit eternally. We're just these human in these human forms for such a short time of our eternal life. And we came here to experience all the emotions. So you know, I went through a hard time for a little while. I didn't, I was on a high frequency. I was not on a high vibration. I knew that this was happening for me. I knew I had such a deep knowing that this was going to be such a great learning lesson. I've been through much worse and it turned out so much better. I knew that it was happening for me, to me, by me, with the universe, co-created. But I was not on high vibration every day. It would be, I would cry a lot and I couldn't always get to a higher vibration, but I had a deep connection to myself, a deep knowing. I took care of myself very well during that, extremely well, which even now even makes me trust myself even more. So it's like, that's the thing we got to be careful too when we do this work. It doesn't mean that, um, you're always going to, that's the one thing I disagree with Abraham Hicks. She's like, you can always like be up here. It's like, I don't think, I think we have to, as David Guyam says, David Guyam talks about, he's the guy that teaches Kabbalah, and me and Amber love him. And he's very cute to look at, ladies or men. But he, all right. But he talks about his whole life is Kabbalah. He lives in that. That's what and he teaches that. And like, but even when something horrible happens to him, he feels it. If we don't feel it, and I know Yuki disagrees with me on this too, if we don't feel it, we don't learn from it. Like, how can you, if what happened to me this summer, I didn't feel it and I didn't learn about my discernment. I didn't learn about the chaos inside of me that I create actually on the outside. Like, I would have not, I don't think I would have ever come to these conclusions that are so life changing for me that now I've been working on the last few months. It's like, I would probably, my discernment's pretty good, but I still need to tweak it a little bit. And I would not have ever known if this didn't hurt so bad that I didn't, and then it made me realize, like, oh my God, I didn't pay attention to this. I didn't pay it. I need to pay attention to this next time. And so it's just like, I do feel, I guess this is a belief, Yuki, but I do feel that we need to feel the pain sometimes just so we can learn from it. And maybe in a year, maybe from being with Yuki even longer, maybe I'll have a different, we don't know. That's the great thing about belief. It's science. It's like science, always evolving, always changing, right? We learn more and then we like, oh, I don't have that belief anymore. So who knows what I'm going to think in a year or even 6 months. But for right now, I feel like that pain had to happen for me. I had to feel that because now it made me learn. I mean, I've learned like 5 mind-blowing things about myself because of that. And it's changed me in such an amazing, beautiful way.
Yeah, 100%. Um, do you, this is really interesting. Do you feel as though it has to be painful for you to
I don't know. I mean, obviously, the 2 times in my life that were very hard. The one time I went to rock bottom and drag myself out of that, and then that was insanely painful. And this, I mean, maybe not. I mean, maybe I can learn from it. I think, maybe one thing I did learn from all of this since July was my attachment style. And I think attachment is very painful, right? Like if you're attached and I was trauma bonded to this person. The attachment, I mean, we would always say, the movie Brokeback Mountain, I can't quit you. I would always say, I can't quit you. You know what I mean? Because we were just like, oh my God, we're like addicted to each other. And we
yeah.
knew that it wasn't good. We knew that was not. So maybe not, now I'm trying to learn more about my attachment styles. I'm trying to learn more about like it all coming. I always thought I had it all in here, but I realized I have a lot of it in here, but I was also expecting that other person to have a lot of me as well. And so that, yeah, you're right. Maybe let's talk. Let's set a calendar in a year from now. Let's talk about this and see
Let's
how I
do
feel
it.
about that. Because you're right. Maybe not. It's so interesting. It's like I had
Yeah.
more pain from this than like losing my father because I wasn't attached to my father in that way. I'm attached to him. He's my dad, but like I didn't depend on him every day. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like I love him. We had towards the end of his life, we had such a beautiful, loving relationship. And but I didn't even have as much pain when he passed a year ago last year that I did to when all of this happened. So you're right. You're right. Maybe it doesn't. And I learned a lot from my dad's death. So you're right. Do you believe that it has to be
Yeah.
painful or no?
I used to, and it's funny because exactly what you're saying, it was like my husband's motto for a really long time. Like, well, if it wasn't really like it has to be painful in order for you to have that like experience of like, oh, I'm not doing that again, right? Like it had to
Right.
be so like either
Right.
whether it be physically, right? Like I had to break my leg in order for me to go, I'm not going to do that
Right.
again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
emotionally, it had to be. I don't know if I have. you know what, that's an interesting question for me. I'd have to think about that for a minute. But like
Yeah.
the prompt is just, I mean, this is just kind of like food for thought, you know what I'm saying, for you as
Yeah.
well as other
I
people
love
that are
it.
watching. But
Absolutely.
like think about like, you just bought a beautiful vase, right? And you set it on the counter, it's like half off, and then it falls. Like that's not what I would designate as a person like a painful experience. However, you are like, well, I'm not setting it on the side anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Right.
it's it wasn't
Right.
painful. Like, you didn't cut your finger or like
Right.
whatever, but next time you're gonna scoot it away from the edge. You know what I mean? Like, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of like where um like kind of I was going on like if maybe that's something, like, oh, I'm not able to learn a lesson in this experience because it's not painful.
Right. Right.
Just something to,
Mhm.
because I know
Yeah.
I've had awarenesses that have hit me like a ton of bricks and it wasn't painful. If anything, it was exciting. I was like, oh wow, right? Like I'm not talking about death or anything like that, but like,
Yeah.
just about myself that I've learned. And I'm like, light bulb. And then I'm like, huh, right? So I mean, just something to think about, like I said. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I wrote down November 12th, 2026.
Okay. Amazing.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
yes.
let's see where we're at because you're right. I mean, once again, it was attachment. It was like and looking back, like realizing all of the pain that, or all of the things that were not okay that I accepted from this person, right? That made me learn so much about me as well. But yeah, it's just like when you're attached to a human like that, and they're like your family when you have no other family around, like, yeah. So it's just like, who know? I mean, yeah. And then maybe it was because like I really that attracted me with David Guyan because I was like, oh, that's exactly how I feel. But I remember when I said it once in Yuki's group, he was like, no. He's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that. And so yeah, I mean, once again, I'm trying to really learn my attachment styles. And that's one of the reasons I feel like all of this happened for me is because it was that I was giving, even though I'm so strong in my practices, in myself, in my self-love, my self-respect, all these amazing things, there are things that I need to work on. So I knew that this was happening for me. And I obviously it didn't take me to out. It didn't even knock me down. It just took the wind out of me, right? It just like, I mean, um, I still have done so many amazing things in the last few months. But I think the universe was like, you need to get back to yourself. You need to learn about attachment styles. And once again, I knew this for a while, but I didn't know it's hard to like change your attachment style. Well, for me, it was when you're so in the thick of it, when that person's right next to you all the time. And like, just like, how do you change that? I mean, I'm sure it's possible with therapy and stuff like that. And so like an attachment expert, but yeah, that's why there's just so much to learn. And that this taught me that, as I've said so many times, this situation taught me that I've realized my life is not about, I mean, I love my family, I love you, I love my friends, I love but it's not about you guys. This is about me. This is
Mhm.
about my expansion. This is about where I'm going. And I always think about my deathbed always. That's usually what motivates me and how I get things done. Cause I'm like, I don't want to be on my deathbed regret not doing this. And I would have been on my deathbed regretting that I had been so attached to this person and that I would have been reflecting and it would have been sad for me. So I know that the universe was like, it's time for you to break free. And here I am. And so learning so much about even going deeper into my self-love and self-respect, right? That's wild. It's a wild ride.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The human
Yeah.
experience. I just love
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been great. This has been
Yeah.
some great awarenesses, great topics, and I love this topic so much. Um, so yeah, I just for myself and you and everybody that's watching, like what radio station frequency are we tuning into, right? Because we have a
Yeah.
choice. And then if we're in one that is not expanding us, right, that is not beneficial to us, then what can we do to change that, right? So and
Absolutely.
as always, every second and fourth Tuesday, you can join Shannon for sound and energy healing, which will definitely change your vibration for sure.
Absolutely.
And every Wednesday, you can join my book club, which will also change your vibration as well. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.